Hi guys, this is Tina. Welcome back to my channel. So if you're crafting along with me and you've kind of been making your folio as well, hopefully you've got kind of, you know, something similar to this. Obviously it doesn't have to be the same because we're kind of all doing our own versions of things. But if I just kind of quickly show you, you know, how I've stitched mine together basically. So obviously this was my kind of flap, which has been stitched kind of to this one. And I just popped a smallish pocket this side and then another pocket this side. This obviously, you know, is effectively this piece of paper that's making this pocket. Then I've got this pocket here, and then I have got also this pocket here. I decided to do the double kind of pocket at the front. So hopefully that's going to kind of work well. It's making it quite heavy, so I hope that that's not going to kind of be a problem. It's quite front heavy compared to this side, but you know, I guess that doesn't really matter. Oh, sorry, because I also put a pocket on the front, so I guess obviously it would be, you know, quite front heavy, but hopefully that's fine. I have been digging out some more little bits and pieces for the kind of decorating of my file folder, and I've got this lace, which I've used it before, but I obviously forgot all about it. And it was in kind of my little lace kind of, you know, bag thing. And I mean, I hope you can see this because it's actually quite a darkish day today, but it's the most beautiful colour blue, and it's got a kind of shiny-ish surface. So it just picks up the kind of bluey shades from this kit just absolutely perfectly. So yeah, I thought that would kind of be absolutely perfect for the journal. And then I've also dug out these other laces as well. So we may or may not use these, I'm not quite sure. So we're just going to kind of, you know, do a suck it and see, and just see where this, you know, where this kind of evolves to. I've started looking at other bits and pieces as well, to see kind of the types of things that we're going to do. So potentially kind of have a journal, which I've kind of stitched. Again, I took some of the background pages, doubled them up and made a kind of cover for a journal. And again, I just took a couple of the offcuts and stitched around them to make pockets here. And then I took a lot of the background papers and just printed these ones onto just normal copy paper, single-sided, so you've got a whole kind of variety of beautiful images interspersed with obviously plain images for kind of, you know, not plain images, plain pages for, you know, journaling. So that's a kind of potential journal, you know, but obviously I haven't kind of done anything with that yet. So, I mean, on my last one, I did kind of make the journal first and all the ephemera pieces, and then I kind of went about decorating the folio. This time I really am excited to decorate the folio, so I'm going to try and kind of do it that way round. May find that actually it kind of would have worked better doing it the other way, but this is a bit of an experiment, so you know, we'll kind of see how it turns out, and then hopefully be able to kind of you know, offer some sort of opinion as to kind of which way round works best. So I'm going to pop these bits out of the way. Oh yes, and so also I've got the you know, what I would call the ephemera part of the kit, the kind of body of the kit. I've also brought that along, that hopefully we can kind of decorate our folio up a little bit with some of these kind of images. So, you know, we'll get playing kind of and see how it kind of comes together really. So I'm planning on using this one because it's quite a wide trim. Planning on using this to reinforce the spine, because otherwise obviously, you know, your spine is literally this, you know, doubled up kind of piece of paper. It is 160 GSM, as I've said before, but you know, that's still quite thin. So, you know, we want to kind of reinforce that really to kind of strengthen it. So I'm kind of thinking use this, and we may have to use something else on the inside because it's quite wide, and it may then, if you can see, like interfere with my pockets here. So we'll kind of do this, and then we'll see, you know, how it's kind of coming along really, I think, from there. So I'm going to do this with hot glue, I think, because obviously it's nice and instant. You know, we know it's then kind of glued down properly, and hopefully it should be, yeah, kind of nice and quick from a video kind of point of view. So just pop another glue stick into my gun to make sure it's kind of got plenty in there. So let me just move some of these bits out of the way. My desk's an utter tip as usual. So right, so I'm going to kind of pop it along here. Again, I'm really not kind of, you know, worried whether I've got more at the front, more at the back. I'm just kind of judging by eye, so it's roughly, give or take, it's in the middle-ish. So what I'm going to do is kind of just run some glue, just kind of like that, down there. That obviously I'm then going to take my lace trim and just pop it down. So, I mean, I find hot glue to be pretty good in, you know, drying reasonably clear. So, you know, hopefully this is going to be fine. So that's that piece. I'm just pressing it down, making sure it's kind of stuck. And then obviously we can kind of go along the edge and stick that down as well. But what I'm going to do here, I think, is kind of go more along the spine on this side, I think. So as I'm kind of reinforcing the spine a little bit more. So I'm just going to take my glue kind of here and run it down, you know, nice and close to kind of the spine line. The spine line. Never really heard anyone say that before, but hopefully you guys know what I mean by that. So that's that piece, and then I can open it out and I'm just going to cut it off. Now, I don't want necessarily to have that flush. As you can see here, it's kind of overhanging and I think that looks quite nice. So I'm just going to kind of trim it like that. We may cut that down because in my last one, what I did was kind of attach the journal with the elastic, which then maybe would kind of fold this lace in, but we'll see when it comes to that, whether we want to kind of tuck it in or not. So then what I'm going to do is glue this kind of down further. So I'm going to, again, kind of zigzag that down. Just do kind of it in 2 stages. So we've got half, and then we'll just do this one like that. There we go. My daughter's up here crafting with me at the moment as well. So did you want to say hello, sweetie? Did you want to say hello?
Yes.
Come on then, say hello.
Hello.
Good girl. And she'd like to show her bear that they've been doing at school. So this was a little teddy bear that they stuffed at school. So the stuffing's kind of all in the back. And then she's made this cute little jumper, she's calling it, around the bear. And obviously they weren't stitching at school. She's only 5 and she's in reception class. So she's stuck it with masking tape, which we thought was clever. And sellotape is her absolute favourite thing. So that's how she's attached it to the bear. And what's your bear's name? Speak up nice and loud so people can hear.
Charlotte.
Speak louder.
Charlotte.
Charlotte. Pretty name. And her bear, you know, she's changed quite a few times during the week. She's only just brought it home from school today. They've been keeping it at school and teaching their bears and dressing their bears and things like that. So her bear has changed names several times during this week. And actually changed gender as well. So it started out her bear was actually a boy, and then it changed into a girl. It's not changed back to a boy at all. It's seemed to have stayed a girl, but its name has changed. I think it was it called Strawberry at first?
It was called...
No, I don't remember either. I think it was called Strawberry. And
it's gonna be called Strawberry.
Oh, now she's saying it's going to be called Strawberry again. So yeah, it's the ever-changing name for that bear. It's had multiple names already. So they've just brought it home for the weekend, and then they've got to take it back next week because they're still kind of doing things with the bear. So But she's been really excited all week to be able to bring the bear home. So you were really chuffed to bring it home today, weren't you?
Yeah.
It's Friday afternoon at the moment. And obviously I've said this loads of times, but I'm filming my videos kind of ahead so that I've got them to be able to upload kind of, you know, like have them when I'm busy. I can still upload videos because I will have obviously pre-recorded them. So it may be, you know, some other day of the week when obviously this gets uploaded, but I'm filming this on a Friday afternoon, so she's just got home from school, and I'm obviously home from work, so, and it's just before her brothers, the boys, go to CrossFit on a Friday, so we're just kind of slotting in a quick video in between school and CrossFit. So yeah, but she's crafting at the moment, doing something else. So again, I'm just reinforcing the other kind of spine here, and again I'm just going to kind of glue this quite close to the actual edge of the spine again. So just run a piece of glue down, or you know, not a piece, but run some glue down the edge there. Oh, I'm so glad it's the weekend. The weekends just go too quickly, don't they? And I haven't seen the weather forecast for the weekend or anything. I don't know whether the weather is going to be very nice or not, but to be honest, who cares? It's just nice to not be at work, isn't it? And you know, for everyone to be at home. Obviously my older son, he's got his weekend job, so he will be at home on Saturday, but he won't be at home on Sunday because he tends to work mainly on a Sunday. Sometimes he swaps his shifts and he'll work the Saturday instead, and sometimes he has to kind of do extra shifts. But yeah, this weekend he's just doing the Sunday. So there we go. Right. Okay. So already I'm loving how that looks. Look at that blue lace. I mean, I don't know how well that's picking up on camera. Let me just stand up and see. I suspect it's not looking half as pretty as it looks in real life, but the colour of that lace is just absolutely gorgeous. I really, really, really love it. So that's kind of that. Now I'm still deciding how to reinforce this on the inside. Now, as I said, this lace is very thick, you know, very, very wide. So if you can see here, I have, when I've used it previously, trimmed it down in half. So it could be that we could use the trimmed in half section here, you know, which would work perfectly fine. Or we could use a different kind of lace trim altogether. Kind of thinking that it might be nice to use the one that's in half because it is this gorgeous colour blue, which, you know, looks really, really pretty obviously against the papers. So yeah, perhaps we'll kind of do that. And I'm just wondering kind of what to do over here. So as I say, I have brought along some of the ephemera pieces. I've got here this banner piece, which is rather nice. So I'm just going to cut that out. So I've said this before, but my daughter's got a little craft box that she keeps in the cupboard behind me, full of kind of, well, paper and some colourful washi tapes and things like that. So she's just kind of having a bit of a play around with her craft box now. It's really nice for me that she loves crafting, or, you know, seems to so far. She loves crafting because I'm one of 3 girls. I've got 2 sisters, and neither my mum or my 2 sisters like crafting. None of them do. So in fact, to the point, you know, they don't get it at all, and they're kind of like, oh God, here she goes again talking about crafting. You know, they don't get it at all. So yeah, it's kind of disappointing. I would love to have you know, sisters and a mum and things who did like crafting, but sadly they don't. And so for me, that's just going to be awesome. You know, if my daughter stays a crafter, that's just going to be lovely for us as she's getting bigger. So, do you think you're going to stay a crafter, sweetheart?
Yes.
Hopefully. Hopefully she will. So far so good. So now I'm just having a look here whether we could kind of have a different look. So what I might do is glue this down. I like this here. The blue on that looks really nice. So I'm going to glue this down now here so that I'm then, you know, kind of aware of how that looks already. So I just kind of flatten that out so I'm not kind of, you know, what's the word? Kind of destroying it, I suppose. So now I'm just wondering, do I glue it in the middle or do I kind of gradually glue it? So maybe glue it in the middle. So we're going to kind of glue it like that. Okay, and then I'm going to just cut that again, kind of there. Again, you know, not desperately trying to get that straight or anything like that, but just get it stuck down. And then we're just going to kind of glue it here, just so as we're gradually gluing it along here. Like that. Okay. Aren't these colours just really pretty together? I really hope that this lace is coming out on the video because it looks so pretty. Because this lace has got this kind of, I can't really describe it, but you know, like when they've obviously used a kind of silky thread to make the lace. So all of this side of the lace is kind of done in this really silky kind of thread. And it just looks so, so, so pretty. I just really love it. So I really pray that the camera is picking that up. I suspect it's really not, but it, you know, trust me, it really is very pretty. So yeah, just looks lovely. So that's that piece there. And then obviously we're going to reinforce this one as well. So, gosh, I've got hot glue everywhere. Literally everywhere. So, hang on. Right. Just going to kind of glue this down. I don't really like it when it's kind of, I mean, it doesn't have to be stuck down right to the edges, but I like it quite close to the edges. So, okay. I feel a bit happier by that. Then here, I'm just going to have a look. See what we want going down this one. So again, we could have kind of a narrow one, or we could again have it on its kind of wider part. I'm just deciding. So I do quite like it, strangely enough, on the wider one. Let me just have a look. It's kind of got a bit more impact on the wider one, and strangely enough, I don't like it when it's looking symmetrical to this one. You know, like as if I've tried to kind of match them up. If you see what I mean. To me, that looks a little bit like I've tried to match them. Could be because they're both facing the same way. Whereas when I put it, the wider one, they're obviously not matching. So, you know, for me, I quite like that. So I might go for the wider one. So we'll do that now. So again, just going to kind of lay that down like that, so it's kind of flattish and not moving. And then we're just going to kind of, I'll just glue along here like that, and then I'm going to pop that down there like that, and then just press it down like that. Okay, and then I'm just going to again snip that off here. Oops, like that. And then again, I'm just going to kind of now glue it down so it's not flapping around, because, you know, that would just irritate me. So, like that. Okay. Like that. And then we're going to do this side as well. So we just take a bit of glue here. Again, just kind of glue that down. I'm literally, can you see my hands? It looks like kind of cobwebs all over them. It's hot glue threads. But yeah, it kind of resembles cobwebs slightly, so it's very strange. Right, it doesn't bother me, but just kind of one of those strange things, isn't it? You know. Okay, so I'm liking that. I'm just going to kind of glue that down a bit more. Hopefully it's kind of now quite well glued. Oops, just this on. Okay, so, and again, I mean, obviously you could stitch your lace on. I mean, I'm hot gluing it down because obviously that's going to be much quicker, and otherwise that's yet another thing that I'm doing off camera. And, you know, it's kind of one of those tricky things because it's, you know, I'm wanting to kind of do a craft with me and kind of, you know, make these little folios kind of together. But obviously if I'm constantly then saying, oh, now I'll go to the sewing machine, then very little would actually get done together. So yeah, that's kind of where that's at. So right, I've got this one here, which we could have this. I mean, that's very pretty, isn't it? We could have it this way round, kind of like that. Let me just move this kind of the other side so it's not trailing across the whole piece. And then you see what we could do here is actually have this down as a belly band, you know, so you can kind of slot things under there. So that's kind of that. Or do we just want to stick with the blue? So let's just check what the blue looks like. I mean, I quite like the blue, but I felt like the ivory was adding kind of a different dimension to this, and somehow it making this look richer and more kind of, I don't know, like fancy and what's the word? Sumptuous. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, it kind of has that feel to me. Now, this lace, as you can see, is kind of gathered on the, like a waistband, I suppose. There is a word for this, and I can't think now what the actual word for this gathered kind of lace is, or perhaps that's just the word, gathered lace. Now, quite often when I use this gathered lace, I actually cut it away from the gathering so that it would technically be flat. So I just show you here, I've got some, oops, that I've already kind of done that with. So I would have cut it away from the gathering so it's then a flat lace. But again, for this kind of folio, I thought this would be really quite lovely to have this as a oh god, like a hangy kind of lace, like a curtain, I suppose, like a kind of, I don't know, like a dangly bit. So it's kind of got more more to it, you know, more going on with it. Now I'm just folding this down because obviously this has been hot glued, and hot glue can be quite stiff. So I'm just kind of folding it like that. Obviously, you know, the more you kind of bend this, the you know, the more it's going to kind of be willing to bend, if you see what I mean. And we're going to have obviously that being the case here as well. Okay, So, you know, that's kind of my folio here as it's kind of going on here. So I'm going to kind of glue this down, I think, and we're going to have this piece here. I'm going to probably just glue this kind of top and bottom so as I can use it as a belly band. So I'm probably going to wet glue that because I find the wet glue kind of, what's the word? It will stick really well with the wet glue, where sometimes the hot glue, when it's kind of a thin piece like this, it can almost make it kind of prone to being torn off, if you see what I mean. You know, not always, but I just, you know, sometimes kind of feel that the wet glue is actually kind of better for attaching things like this. So I did bring some tissue along to be able to kind of mop things up. So let me just mop that up. Like that. Okay. Oh, I'm loving how this looks already. How about you guys? Do you think it looks pretty? And you know, are you guys kind of, are you using these papers as well? In which case, how is yours coming along? Or are you using other papers, you know, and in which case, how is that coming along? I'm sure they're all looking absolutely gorgeous. So they're really fun to make, aren't they? So yeah, I've been dying to decorate this because just like it looked so pretty. So I'm just going to run hot glue straight down the edge of here and then hot glue that seam part. Now I don't know whether I'm now out of frame, so let me just check. Yep, completely out of frame, so let me move that over. Basically I glued down that edge there, so press that down like that, and then I'm just going to kind of cut it off here. So getting close to there, but it can go off when it comes to the actual lace itself, if you see what I mean. So that just looks lovely so far. So then we've obviously got our pockets that we're going to kind of fill with some ephemera and things that we're going to hopefully kind of make, you know, together. I wonder whether we need to kind of, or I mean, obviously we don't need to, but I wonder whether we want to do anything else. So I'm just going to cut this piece out here, which is kind of like a bit of a belly band made with these clock and watch faces. So, and actually I probably should have fussy cut this out before coming on camera, but again, I was keen to kind of do everything with you guys because, you know, if you are actually following along and, you know, using the same papers and things, then it's really nice if we can kind of be using the same bits and pieces, isn't it? So I'm just cutting this out like that. Obviously I am going, you know, I'm not going fast, that's the point. I'm actually going quite slowly, but I'm trying to go as quickly as I can cutting this, but obviously circles and kind of curved edges are not quite so quick to cut as kind of things like flowers, or, you know, because you've got to be a little bit more definite, I suppose, with where you're cutting, because it's not going to be quite so forgiving as a flower. So, and you know, this may look good, it may not look good. Obviously, until I've cut it out and try it, we don't know how this is going to look on this piece. So I'm just, you know, just experimenting here, basically. Right. So we've got that piece there, which we could obviously pop down here. I quite like that. Could have it there. Could even have it, oops, here. Although it's a little bit lost in there. Or we could even have it on the front cover somewhere. I'm going to have to glue that down because that flap kind of on the lace is a bit annoying to me, but we'll do that later. So I mean, again, it kind of ties in with those clocks there. So we could have it there. I mean, on the back, we could have it kind of going down the back. We might not have it at all. So let's move that and probably not bother with that one. So let's have another look. It's very hard to kind of, you know, decide what to have, isn't it? Because, you know, do we want to kind of add things, or are we kind of quite happy with actually how it's kind of coming along anyway in its kind of naked state? Oh, the doorbell earlier, that was my nephew, my sister's boy, who comes to CrossFit with us. So that was him arriving, ready to go to CrossFit. So we've probably got about 20 minutes now. Oops. There we go. So we've cut out that one. So we could have that. We could just have it kind of at, you know, when I use these, I don't know whether you call these a label or a frame or a ticket. I quite like cutting them in half and having them kind of just hanging on the edge of a page like that. You know, to me, that looks really kind of cool. So we could kind of just have them a bit like that. To me, that looks really nice. So perhaps we'll go for that. And I'm just wondering if we want any lace trim or anything down this edge, or whether actually we're better off kind of leaving this edge in its plain state. I'm just checking where it folds into, because obviously there is a gap here. So let's just see. You know, we may want to kind of have something else kind of like from this side, but keep this side bare. What do you think? Or what we could do is actually pop that ticket, or, you know, can't really think what I would call those, but we could pop that on some lace. So I've just taken a tiny bit of lace here, just kind of was at the side. So if I just cut around that just to kind of see. So I'll just cut around that like that. Just cut that down like that. We could have it kind of like that. You know, so as we don't have a lace trim, but we've got a bit of lace kind of going on, you know, so it's not so plain. But actually, now moved it, I don't think we may even need that. Maybe there, but maybe leave this one plain. Yeah, I think we're going to leave this one plain. So I'm going to wet glue this one on. Again, just because it's kind of a paper piece, you know, I feel just wet gluing it is fine. So, and obviously because it's only a small piece, it's not like I'm having to hold it together or anything. So just kind of stick that down like that. I'm just mopping it up because there was quite a bit of glue on there. It's a new glue, so it's quite oozy at the moment. Right, and then this one we're going to kind of have there, and I do like that one with the lace. So for that one, I'm going to hot glue it down because obviously I want it to just kind of hold the lace down. And it just is, again, for speed, just saves me having to wait for it to dry. So that's why I've done that. Okay. So I'm loving how this looks so far. What do you guys think? Are you pleased with how yours is coming along? Are you kind of doing the same thing as me? Are you doing different things to me? You know, if you're doing the same, I would love to see pictures. It's so nice when people actually send their pictures of the projects that made, you know, that's just wonderful to kind of see. So I'm going to pop a flower on there. I've got the ivory flowers. I did also dig out these gold ones, which I also really like. I don't know whether they're a bit too gold. Let's have a look. I think I prefer the ivory. That gold one seems just a bit too gold, I think. So just going to, again, just hot glue that on, because then that's nice and quick. And it's, you know, it's now stuck. I don't have to worry about it. So I'm just going to check what the time is, kind of, you know, where I'm up to. Right, we're up to kind of 36 minutes. So probably what I'm going to have to do is just finish this side off, and then we'll probably leave the cover ready for the next, you know, another video. And then we'll do the cover and maybe make some ephemera or kind of work on a journal or something like that. So I think that's kind of the best thing to do. So let's just quickly check what we want to do here. Now, what did I do with that blue lace? Have I just moved it to the side when I moved all that other stuff? I'm not sure now what I've done with it. Did it drop off my lap when I stood up? Oh, it's there. There to the side. Right, so do we want to have kind of some blue lace going on? Could have it this way, so it's kind of hanging off a little bit. It's quite nice like that, except I'm not over keen on it kind of looking like it's going the same direction as the other one. So could have it like this. What do you think? Could have another bit of that kind of like curtain type effect going on. Or is that kind of too much? I do like it. I have also bought this ivory lace along, which again is a gathered lace. So this one's much more ivory, but we could have that kind of something a bit different. Again, I'd started cutting that off, so we could have that kind of glued flat on there. Oh, decisions. Just, I don't know now what to do. Again, I'm back to that whole don't try it, because then you're going to then be stumped for what thing you like the best. You know, whereas if you don't give yourself options, you know, you just don't have to kind of worry, do you? Just going to see how this kind of would go being folded if I had the two curtains. It would be okay. Oh, I don't know. Oh, I'd like to see what this looks like flat. So let's just see. No, I like this whole curtain thing that we've got going on. So, and I don't normally do that, but I think it's quite appropriate for this one. So just pulling this out, and then again, I'm probably off camera now, but just moving this over. Got a very limited workspace here, so I'm going to glue it down like we did the last one. So I'm just going to run some glue right down the edge of there, and then I'm just going to glue it like that. Okay, press it down like that. Okay, and then cut it round or down. Round or down, I'm not sure what the expression is. Oops, I seem to have something else glued in there. Right, okay, let's move those out of the way, because they're all getting a little bit kind of a little bit mixed in here now. So right, let me cut this down here. Just going to trim it down slightly. I don't mind it overhanging, but it was quite, you know, overhanging quite a lot. Right, loving that. Looks really pretty to me. And again, we could pop something here. So let's just hold that down for a moment. Just see whether I've got anything that's kind of glaringly, you know, obvious, like calling out that it needs to go there. And then we'll decide. So sure. Got that kind of banner piece. I don't know whether that might look okay or not. It's a bit wide. So we might come back to that because, yeah, I might be kind of rushing this now because I'm, you know, the end of the video is getting near. So it's probably better if I actually just now stop, and then we'll come back kind of in slower time where things won't be kind of rushed, and then, you know, mistakes get made, don't they? So I think, yeah, I'm going to kind of leave it there, say, as I'm still kind of literally doing this. And it just is a bit of a thing, isn't it? You know, can't quite leave it there. So I like that there. So let's just going to cut off a kind of 4, I think, and just see whether we could have kind of that just popped on here. What do you think? Yeah, I quite like that. I love things that are kind of shiny and just adding a little bit of kind of impact. So I'm just going to pop that there like that, and then we're going to pop another bit of glue here. That's it, and pop that down. Okay, and that's going to be it now for this part. So I'm going to come back next time, and we're going to get on with obviously decorating the cover and then making some embellishment bits. But definitely, you know, really enjoying how this is kind of going so far. So hope that you're really enjoying yours. Hope yours is kind of coming along really well too. And I will see you guys next time. So thanks very much for watching, and I will see you all again soon. Thanks, Anne. Bye.